Hello to my fellow KW stakeholders. Of course, it's Aaron Kaufman, Chief Stakeholder Evangelist out of Atlanta, Georgia. And look, I don't know what kind of morning you're having, if it's rainy where you're at, if you woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning. But let me just tell you, here comes a ray of sunshine for all of us because super excited to talk to one of my favorite people in Keller Williams and one of many people's favorite people in KW, the fabulous Miss Veronica Barfield Jones. How you doing, dear? I think you might be muted. I can't hear you. Let's see here. Let's see if you're still muted there. I don't hear you, but I'm going to go into the Facebook group and see if I can hear you over there, because if not, we are in trouble. Let's see if we get your, let's see.
Okay, Andrew, can you hear me now?
I hear you now.
Perfect. Thank you. Sorry about that, guys.
No, it's all good, Veronica. You know I love you. I said Barfield. It's actually Barfield, correct, Jones?
Yes, but that's okay. But I'm a Jones now, so.
You're a Jones. Yes, you are. Well, look, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing wonderful. I was so excited.
Yeah, me too.
To talk to everybody. Yes, absolutely.
Look, I know how busy you are, Veronica, so it means the world to us that you're taking time today. And you know, we're going to get into profit share and how you guys have created such an amazing market center that is built on gratitude and celebration around profit share. But look, before we get into that, I want to talk about, one of my favorite quotes about KW, right? It's not just about what you get, it's about who you become. So take us back, Veronica, years ago, because I know you, back in the day, you were an agent, right? You got into leadership, but go back to before you joined Keller Williams. Tell us your background, how you ended up coming into real estate, choosing Keller Williams, and selecting the sponsor for joining KW.
Oh, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you again. I'm really excited to be here. So I originally was a paralegal. I was a paralegal for litigation and corporate law for 13 years. And one day walked into my HR department and they said, Veronica, you've been with us for 13 years. You work for the managing partner. You're making $85,000 a year. You've got a great 401k. You've got a $500 American Express clothing allowance. And you're capped now. So, well, you're still going to get your bonuses. My whole package was really nice, but they just said you were capped. Yeah. And Andrew, Aaron, that was the first time that I ever heard the word cap. And I was like, wow, okay. So that means that's all I'm going to make. And so I researched and saw that real estate was the career to go into. You can be your own boss and the sky's the limit, the amount of money you can make. So I, of course, went to school at night for my real estate classes and met a young lady that came and was from KW. And of course, they were speaking about Keller Williams. Joined Keller Williams part-time, and then eventually got on someone's team, and then was on that team for a long period of time, and then got off the team and started my own team, and then got into opportunities for leadership. So I was an ATL first at one point, and then got an opportunity to run this market center in 2010. And then in 2012, got the opportunity for ownership.
Incredible. So let's unpack all of that. First of all, let me just say one of the worst jobs I ever had was document reproduction services.
Oh, yes.
I don't know, being a paralegal, if you know who those guys are, but I'm the guy that would bring in the trays of bagels and muffins to the paralegals so that I could get their documents, right?
Yes, we love you guys.
One of the worst jobs I've ever had because I had to wheel this dolly of documents around downtown Atlanta in a suit. It was terrible. But anyways, so look, the first thing that I think about is the fact that you came into real estate as a part-time agent, right? Yes. And I know, we always talk about, Gary has a quote that really spawned my entire profit share building business, which was, look, many of the leaders of our industry 5 years from now, they're not even in the business yet. And many of them are dual career agents. Okay. So what was that like? I mean, you had a full-time job, right? Where you had to be there every day, 9 to 5, probably 8 to 5.
Yeah.
What was it like? So you came in right into a team, or did you start off as an individual agent first?
I started off as an individual agent, but only for like 6 months because my sponsor started a team and I joined that team.
Okay.
Yep. So that's exactly what I did.
And that
Go ahead.
person was in leadership or was just an agent?
No, it was just an agent.
Right.
Several agents. What at that time she was on the ALC, and they were coming to. They were part of the growth committee.
Yeah.
So yep. So they would present at the Champion School of Real Estate where I was attending, and shared their story,
Exactly.
and I was very impressed.
And look, that's another thing I wanted to unpack there, right? In many states, you can volunteer to speak at the end of a licensing class and talk
Right.
about Keller Williams and have a great opportunity to meet people that are coming into the business. I know a lot of people that do that purposefully. So that's just another example of there's many different ways to get out there and lead generate for talent. And I don't think your sponsor could have ever imagined that somebody she spoke to that day in class would become who you are today, right? So
Absolutely.
So you were on a team. You got out on your own. You started selling full time, right? You had a lot of success selling on your own, right?
Yes.
What
Yes.
was did a light bulb go off for you about profit share when you were an agent, or was it until later when you got into leadership? Or tell me how that all kind of
Yes.
manifested.
So let me tell you, I've been with Keller Williams exactly 21 years.
Yeah.
I've been in leadership for 13.
Wow.
And I'll tell you this, Andrew. Unfortunately, at the time when I joined, profit share wasn't really a big thing. They didn't really talk about the story at a very high level. They talked about how great the company was. So I was with Keller Williams for 2 years before I even knew what profit share was.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that I was, of course, at a conference and I was hearing about profit share. And I'm 52 years young, Aaron. So it's interesting to know that people were buying flat screen TVs when they were big, buying nice sports cars or taking big trips. They were truly living the life. And I asked them, how did you must be doing really, really well. They're like, no, our profit share pays for all of this. And I was like, tell me more about that.
Wow.
So I walked into my team leader's office and I said, tell me more about profit share. It looks like everyone's getting these checks but me. And she looked me up and she was like, no, you haven't brought anybody. And I said, well, tell me how to do that. She said, it's just a matter of telling your story. So I said, okay, I can do that. So then I started truly having real conversations with my co-op agents, with people I would meet at the bank or getting my car detailed or picking up my cleaners. I knew now that if I saw talent, I wanted to share with them about Keller Williams. Then eventually I got on the ALC as an individual agent, and I would definitely go and recruit and tell people the story. And then also too, not to mention, I helped my team leader at that time recruit as well. So that's where I learned about leadership because I saw what she did and I wanted to do exactly what she did. Yeah.
Well, I always tell people, if you ever want to open doors of opportunities, opportunity at KW, just start growing your profit share. I mean, right? I mean, how many people do I know started getting purposeful about profit share, then got an opportunity to do get into leadership, and then next thing you know, I mean, their lives have changed.
Absolutely.
So what were those early conversations like, let's say, with a co-broke agent for you? Because look, a lot of agents are hesitant to quote unquote recruit, right?
Yeah.
Especially when they're doing a deal with an agent, which we both know is the best time to actually have those conversations. But tell me what that mindset or what those conversations would look like for you with co-broke agents. I'm just curious how you would handle that.
Absolutely. So pretty much I would just kind of, everybody would say, has anyone ever shared with you about Keller Williams? And everybody, earlier they didn't really know what Keller Williams, Keller Williams was. Now they of course know. But my conversation always looked like this, is you owe it to yourself to compare. Gary Green will never own you. Keller Williams will never own you.
Yeah.
You're a smart business person. You would at least hear my team leader out and hear what she has to say. And I would just keep it short and sweet. Just say, you know what, and you're doing fabulous. And at the end of the day, you're going to see, hey, I'm getting a heck of a deal where I'm at. Or, you know what, let's talk some more. Let's have that second conversation. So a lot of times, really, the classes, the events spoke for themselves. I would just say, why don't you, if anything, you're going to learn more about your business and grow and stay where you're at, or not see that, you know what, I may need to partner with Keller Williams.
And I would imagine, Veronica, that you were a pretty awesome agent to do a deal with, right? I mean, you're obviously a huge communicator, right? You have a very positive attitude. You're a win-win type person. So how important was being that type of agent when it came to then bridging the gap between conversations about Keller Williams, right? I mean, that was critical for you to have those relationships, to be
Absolutely,
respected.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I didn't ask you immediately when I met you, right?
Sure.
Aaron, I met you right now.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get to know you. I also wanted to see what your production looked like.
Yeah.
Back then, Broker Metrics wasn't as big as it is now. So
Sure.
we could easily be able to, we do that for our ALC when they bring us recruits. I want to know what you're competing against, or if you're going up against a listing agent.
Yeah.
Your team leader will be happy to look up their broker metrics. But my thing was just really building that relationship, because I want to be able to build that trust.
Yeah.
People are always recruiting them and are talking about convincing them to come over. I wanted them to see for myself, for themselves, excuse me.
Yeah.
But yes, I represented Keller Williams at a high level, from exceptional customer service, from communicating, being a paralegal. We go by checklists. I mean, we're very detailed, so we've got to make sure. So they really appreciated that. I remember one time, Andrew, I was doing a deal and all our contracts were exactly the same. We were in multiple offer status. Didn't realize that. And the seller asked the agent, if you look at these 3 agents right here, I mean, I can pick any of them and go forward because all the contracts are exactly the same. But what agent would you pick out of these 3? And she said, definitely Veronica Barfield. She said, because I know the transaction is going to go extremely smooth. She dots her I's, crosses her T's, and she's always looking out to make sure that this is a win-win transaction. So that right there went to go tell that, hey, you know what, that helped with my reputation and how I handle every transaction. I've learned that when they go, high, when they go low, we go high. So we're not going to mirror match, because in this industry, as you know, it can be very chaotic. It can be drama. And I just don't feed into that. I'm just going to go ahead and be smooth. But that right there also told me, Aaron, who I wanted to be able to have more conversations with, an agent that, nope, we knew very well we weren't going to make a match. So I wasn't going to waste my team leader's time, or an agent that truly needed to hear our story.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I love that you say that about it wouldn't be a match for your team leader, because look, we get it, Veronica. It's not our job. It's not our job to say you're right or wrong for Keller Williams, right? That's what leadership's decision is, right? Their job is to decide, are they a fit for KW? With that said, pre-qualifying these recruits for leadership, right, goes a long way. It goes a long way for their meeting, right, with the recruit, to know the good, the bad, the ugly about a potential recruit, but it also goes a long way with your relationships with these leadership teams, right? And that I pride myself on valuing the time of leadership, and I don't send every lead that I generate to a market center, right? I want to do a little bit of upfront pre-qualifying, so that
your due diligence.
I want to be seen as an ongoing source of quality referrals, period. And particularly when it comes to internet recruiting, and I don't have that relationship, I rely on leadership in my relationship to close that. So let's go back, and you've called me Andrew a couple times, and
I'm so sorry, because
I love it, because
you and I both know Andrew Pykoff.
Yeah, one of our favorite people, who, by the way, texted me this morning and was talking about how excited. And actually, originally, Andrew wanted to do this interview with you, and I was like, no. Veronica gets a full hour. We can do an interview.
Thank you.
And it's funny because Andrew, and I know he's listening, he says, I don't know if I have enough to say for an hour. I said, dude, you don't have enough to say? I don't know if you've met yourself, but you got plenty to say. So, Andrew, we're going to hold you to that. We're going to get you on for an hour interview, but we love Andrew Pykoff, and we love his passion around not just profit share, because, he's on the profit share task force with me for the whole company. And one of the things that we are working on right now is really trying to create, and I think we're a little bit playbooked out at KW, so I don't want to necessarily call it a playbook, but we are really on the task force focusing on how can we create kind of a template or a roadmap for how market centers really embrace profit share, from a cultural standpoint, from a gratitude standpoint. And, look, there are very few market centers, Veronica, that have the kind of energy and the gratitude and the celebration for agents and profit share and for referral partners like Professionals does in Spring, Texas. And, you guys, there's just something cooking there. And every time I come there to teach, whether it's my own personal, space, or it's the Fagin welcome party, am I right? I love them. But just the energy of your stakeholder meetings, the energy in the office, I know that all comes from you and your staff. But let's first talk about, because particularly at this time, Veronica, one of the things I'm sort of shocked about is now that I'm on the road teaching again, one of the challenges I think a lot of market centers are facing is trying to get agents to come into the office after the pandemic. And I know that that's not really, still a challenge for you guys, but you guys have a packed house every time I'm there. So talk about how important it is for you, one, to build, to take what you've learned. Well, you were an agent with KW for 2 years, never even knew about profit share, right? Yeah. You finally got into it. How is all of that sort of shaped how you run your office and kind of go through what your mindset is around building this market center and keeping it running, at a high level?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, yes. One thing I will say, Aaron, is we don't call our leadership staff. I heard one time from somebody that it means infection, right? So we call them our leadership. We have great titles here, right? Because I want them to be empowered. That's which I can't do this without them. And I'm very proud of my entire leadership. But our main thing is when you walk in that front door, I want a great first impression, because there's either co-op agents dropping off checks or dropping off whatever they're dropping off. I want them to be able to be impressed with our office. But not to mention when an agent, when an agent's client walks in the door, they're greeted, they offer a concierge service. So there's a nice refrigerator in the back and it has water, coffee, tea, you name it, whatever they need. And then when they come into the conference room, there's a nice sign that says, welcome Aaron Kaufman, guest of Veronica Jones, right? So they're already impressed thinking, wow, is this the way the agent operates? But it's the office that does that for them, because again, we only get one opportunity to make a great first impression and we want their client to be impressed. When we're recruiting, we do the exact same thing. Welcome, Aaron Kaufman. And then, for instance, also too, there's music everywhere. So when we built out this building, Aaron, we didn't have no music. So we put sonos in every corner. And it, so it's just the little things that I don't think people realize. The way this office smells is another thing. We used to use certain plugins. Now we use Aroma 360 because it's a nice touch. Because of that, right? And people say all the time when they come out of the bathroom, they're like, I've never been in a bathroom where we hear music and it smells nice. So again, it's kind of like the Buc-ee's, right? It's just, again, it's all about presentation. When we give them the tours of the office, for recruits, they see agents, working. They see the private offices. They see the work areas that we have. But one thing that really stands out and you and I have taken a picture by there, is our profit share tree. So it's huge and the check is on the other side and they want to know if they come from curiosity. Tell me more about that. And I definitely tell them. For our agents, when it came for them to come in, we wanted to hear from them. We wanted to be able to say, what will it take for y'all to get y'all back in the office? And they just said, keep things, hybrid for a minute, just so that way we can get the transition in. A group couldn't wait to come in, and another group was like, no, I want to come in, but I'm not. And I had to respect both decisions. A lot of things, we originally started hybrid, and then slowly but surely we're starting to weed off as far as being everything in-house. But our team meetings will always stay hybrid because we have a lot of dual career that are taking their lunch hour, and we need to make them feel connected. We have a lot of guests that, that's their time to kind of where they do work for another brokerage, but they get to come in and be a guest at a team meeting just so they can see for themselves without being in the room and being seen. One thing I do, Aaron, as well, is let's say you were my recruit and I'll meet you in the evening. I'll meet you on a weekend, or I'll meet you at a Starbucks, not in the same vicinity of our area. Because in this industry, people talk. As soon as they see two people talking, they're like, oh, look, Aaron's looking like I'm sure he's going to be meeting.
That's a great point.
Right. I saw a meeting with Veronica. So their privacy is everything to me. I've had several recruits come through the back door.
Wow.
And park in the back and come through instead of coming through the front door and come straight into my office. But we just always want to make sure that we protect their privacy. But in regards to agents, we're always bringing them something of value. So I'm always looking out to see who can we bring. You're a big name here in this office. So when we hear you're coming, you're pretty a big celebrity. So of course, as you know, we always get a full house. But people always like to hear from different perspectives of different things, from either the business planning clinic or listing classes, those kind of things. And we always pivot. Like right now, due to the lawsuit, right now we're working with the buyer's agents, making sure they truly are understanding their buyer rep agreements and how to truly express their value proposition, those kind of things. So you just always have to be in the know. And let me tell you, make it fun. Before a big class starts, the whole rumor around here is they know something big is happening when they hear music in the billionaire room. We have two training rooms. It's called the millionaire room and the billionaire room.
I love it.
We're just claiming if you come in this room, this is what you can be. You've got to think it, believe it. Absolutely.
Well, and look, you know that I think one of the biggest challenges, and you experienced it, I experienced it as an agent. I mean, I was with KW for 2 years before I even thought about recruiting or even
Yeah.
wanted to hear
Okay.
about it. But one of the things that is a challenge for our company is that we've grown so quickly, right, and so big that, and we don't necessarily always do the best job telling our story to our own people. And I think, I love one of my favorite people at KW, a woman by the name of Mahogany Rhodes. I don't know if you know her, but
Yeah.
one of our lady leaders in KW. But she said something years ago, it always stuck with me. She said, we're on the third generation of Keller Williams, right? And Veronica, I've been at KW for 20 years. You've been at KW for 21 years. But there's a lot of people, and my guess would be probably 80% of our company hasn't been with our company for more than 5 or 6 years.
Absolutely. Right.
And so when you have a moment like the lawsuit that just went down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you take that moment to talk about what Gary Keller's doing and how he stood up? I mean, is that a part of these conversations? Because I think people need to understand that, yes, these are tough times, but
Absolutely,
also when the greatest shift of wealth happens in real estate. And when you've got a guy like Gary Keller that's out there fighting for the future of our profession at a time when most of our publicly traded companies sort of, settled out of court instead of fighting for it. Do you talk about that when you're talking about this moment at all and really making people understand, hey, look, this is a moment for KW to really take the next big jump? Because I think now more than ever, agents need to understand that who you're in business with right now
absolutely matters.
More than ever.
Yeah. So one thing we'll do, Andrew, is every time we will always talk about it. Like when COVID happened, we were letting you know the precautions that we were taking place. Prior to that, when there was so many hate going on, there still is, don't get me wrong, in this world. I mean, Black Lives Matter. I mean, you name it, right? We always talk about what people don't want to talk about or that's uncomfortable. We're always very neutral. We're always very considerate of both sides, by all means. So when this lawsuit happened, yesterday's team meeting, we discussed it. We also, I'm sure you know, I posted it on Facebook and I also put it in our private page. But we kept it very simple because as far as we made the message very clear. It's business as usual. Absolutely. And we're going to continue doing that. Per our president, Mark and Jason Abram, it is business as usual. One thing I would love about Keller Williams agents is we've always been resilient. We've dealt with COVID. We've done here in Houston, Hurricane Harvey alone, right? And all the hurricanes that come here. But you name it, the shifting of the market, whatever the case may be, we always overcome. So this happening, we just pivot. We just figure out how best to practice that out in regards to that, whatever decision they decide to make. But either way, we will overcome. That's just our mindset. And we don't come from fear, Aaron.
No, 100%. And look, we don't want to turn tragedies, into recruiting opportunities.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
But I will say, I talk about mega relief in my class. Okay. Because it was, that and let's say Des Moines, Iowa, what happened there, a couple years before that. Those are the two biggest cultural moments for me in KW. And when I'm on the road, Veronica, and I'm talking about it, I ask everybody, who in this room was at mega relief? And 95% of the time, maybe one person raises their hands.
Wow.
Now, the other question is, well, who knows about it? Who's even heard about mega relief, right? And then maybe we get a couple of other hands up. But I go back and I think about that moment, right? And look, you're there, okay? And I'm sure there are agents that were with KW that were impacted by the hurricane, that were given grants and all of that stuff. How did that really, take your culture to the next level? And how do you continue? Do you continue to talk about that? Because I find sometimes when I go into some of these areas where there was a huge natural disaster, 3-4 years later, no one's talking about it. And then you've got a huge turnover of agents. And then all of a sudden that story has been lost. And I'm just curious. I mean, is there do you guys ever talk about that?
Oh, absolutely. In our recruiting PowerPoint, we talk about KW Cares, and we talk about different things that it's done for us. Aaron, in this office alone, when Hurricane Harvey happened, 22 of us got displaced, and myself and the MCA were one of them. And we had 5 feet of water in my home, and we got rescued by boat.
Wow.
The next day, within 24 hours, we were up and checking on our 330 agents. And then we ended up at the command center helping out. we had no home to go back to. It's okay for right now while it was being, of course, rebuilt. But that was huge for me. Matter of fact, I don't even think Gary Keller realizes, but he sent every in his region Yetis, and they're huge.
Yeah, yeah.
And our family lived out of, our food was in
Wow.
there, right,
Wow.
to survive. KW Cares also sent, us a grant that basically helped us, be able to be financially okay, right, during those times until we figured out what our next steps were going to be. But it goes even further than that. We've had agents here who unfortunately have had cancer, some who have unfortunately passed. We've had people here where their child had a medical condition, or we've had somewhere where an agent, unfortunately, it was 4th of July, and their family goes to bed. They put the fireworks away, the whole yards. The husband thought, well, he put the trash can was okay, and the house caught on fire.
Yeah.
So just things like that it just goes to show that no other company would do that. I don't think people realize too, while y'all were out in the field help gutting homes, that the story is that there was a neighbor that was with, I think he was with Coldwell Banker, if I'm not mistaken.
I remember
no one had even reached out to him from his own company, and we helped him. The KW volunteers did. So again, it doesn't matter when we go through crisis like that. It just goes to show that Keller Williams stands for all, and we're going to help everybody. And you will not get a company like that. So you've got to really relook at that. I'll never forget one of my agents who was only 2 weeks in, and she was one of them that was displaced, and KW Cares granted her $2,000. And she said, Veronica, I can't believe I just received this check and I haven't even had a closing with you guys. Let me know how I can repay you. And I told her, welcome to KW.
Exactly.
You don't have to repay that. That's just our culture.
Amazing.
And she's still with us to this day, but it's very powerful. And it just goes to show again, what just an amazing company we work for.
Well, and I think people, look, I'm all about the why, right? I mean, there's so many stories of culture and things that we do as a company, but my focus is making sure that people at KW actually understand why it's different. Okay. Yeah. And I think I heard something at Mega Camp that said something like only like 17% of KW associates are donating to KW Cares through Command right now. Yes, and, I think, it's probably a little bit of the 80-20 rule, but it's also, we don't really remind people that, when Hurricane Harvey happened, there were also fires going on in Northern California.
Absolutely.
And we raised $20 million as a company for our associates. And what most people don't get is that money didn't come from KW. Okay. That money came from us, the stakeholders at KW. And, look, other companies have good people. Not everybody at KW buys into our culture. Okay. But
that's okay.
No, it's okay. You're totally right. But the fact is, I mean, you're probably not going to have a lot of success building your profit share if you're not a cultural driven person. Yeah. But, there's something inherently different about our company, right? Absolutely. And what I worry about and what I'm trying to be a part of the positive change is, look, this ain't about my next check, Veronica. Okay. Right. This is about 100 years from now or 50 years from now, the ripple. And you and I both know, right? Like, what we are building from a profit share standpoint and a legacy, right? Mm-hmm. It's not about our next check. It's about something that's going to ripple through generations of our families. And, don't we want to protect that? Don't we want to make sure that an agent who joins KW in 30 years knows what Mega Relief was, knows what happened in Des Moines, Iowa, knows what we did for our KW Maui agents or our agents in Fort Myers, Florida, or Joplin, Missouri, or all these places that I go where people are crying in my class. Okay. And I always tell people, like, I'm out of Atlanta. I'm like, look, guys, I'm not wishing a natural disaster to happen to us here in Atlanta, but let me just say something. That's when you realize how important it is to be at a company like KW. I mean, ask these Maui agents what it was like to be at KW after that horrible fire that happened. And if they don't think other agents at other companies are paying attention, I mean, my guess is, Veronica, once, the trucks went away and people got their lives back together in Houston, there were a lot of agents at other companies that saw what we did as a company.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they did. And let me tell you, Aaron, it all starts with telling our story from our agents. Yes. Anytime we always make sure that we mention that. That's really important to definitely contribute and to KW Cares, because you never know when you're going to need it. We pray no one ever does, right? Exactly. I had never needed it until then, and I was very thankful for that. And it really, reassured me that I would never leave this company
Yeah.
because of that.
Totally.
But also too, it also states, for instance, with always just making sure we're always reminding them and retelling those stories just to say, no, you don't understand the impact that we've had.
Yeah.
So anytime a team leader, an ALC, a culture committee can constantly put that in front of the agents, they need to.
Totally.
Yeah.
Let's talk about really what I think one of the things you do just amazing, right? Which is creating a culture of gratitude and celebration around profit share. And look, I know a lot of our offices, especially at a time when the market is down and profit share is down for some market centers, or they're not profitable right now, they don't want to talk about profit share, right? They don't want to celebrate it because they're not very profitable. And I actually would completely disagree with that mindset. I think now's the time you need to lean into it, because even if your profit share as an office is only a couple $100 or a couple thousands of dollars, that money right now means more to your agents in a down market than it does in an up market. And if you don't paint a vision, I always say to people, Veronica, imagine if our founding agents were like, hey, let's not talk about profit share because we're not profitable. Like, where would we be today? You think we would have given back $2 billion in profit share? So talk about your intentionality, right? And your systems around creating a culture of celebration and gratitude around profit share. And I'm talking about gratitude to the referral agents inside your office, outside your office. Do you talk about profit share every month? How do you celebrate it? Kind of break it down for us, all right?
Okay. Well, just to start from the very beginning, as you know, if you were walking into my office, my recruiting presentation, which I'd be happy to share with you and to anyone, there's always that video that I still love that shares what profit share is all about. We can explain it, but we're going to definitely be able to. I'm very surprised, Aaron, how most people don't even do that in the recruiting appointment.
Well, and let me stop you there. Let me stop.
I'm just like, you got to.
One of my favorite lines about KW is retention starts in the recruiting presentation, right? Well, I'll just put my own spin on it. Profit share starts in the recruiting presentation.
Yes.
And look, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I'm not really sure how you can communicate our value proposition at a high level if you're not talking about the catalyst for the entire value proposition. You can't talk about culture without talking about profit share. And you can't talk about profit share without talking about culture. So when I hear people say, I don't even talk about profit share in my recruiting presentation, I'm like, maybe that's why your office is not profitable. Maybe that's why your agents don't participate in it. Maybe that's why they don't think like a stakeholder and buy into culture, right? Because the truth is, the conversation around profit share is not about the money. It's about being a stakeholder. It's about being invested in your fellow stakeholders' success. It's about, hey, this is why you want to come into the office. This is why you want to seek out knowledge and referrals. So I love that you say that, Veronica, because if you don't talk about profit share from a why standpoint, okay, and how it's the catalyst, I don't think you can communicate our value proposition at a high level. Now, you might be able to have a great business consulting meeting, which I know is a reason a lot of people will end up joining here for the training and for the models and the systems. But who do you think's talking to them about profit share after they join? Right? Not many people. So go back. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm very passionate about that. Yeah.
So it starts at the recruiting presentation. We call it a business consultation.
I love it.
And what I love is the fact that I always tell them, with Keller Williams, you can make 3 checks. Your first check is your commission check. Your second check is a referral check, because we're from LA to New York and we're also international. So you want to be able to tell people, I can help you in any city, state, or country. Just connect me, just put me with them first. And
if I can add to that, you're part of the largest global real estate referral company in the entire world, right? Where 200,000 stakeholders are vested in each other's success. I don't know. Maybe you should tap into that. And also maybe you should send your out-of-state referrals to other Keller Williams stakeholders too, instead of agents at other companies who are not in the business of fighting for the future of your profession. Yeah.
Yes. Right. Okay. And then the third check is our profit share check. This, we're the only brokerage where the owners truly share the true profit, and they celebrate with us by doing so. And keep in mind, Aaron, you not only will be getting that check by telling your story, but now you get to leave it as a legacy, and your family gets to keep it in from generations to come. So we're all about building wealth, and we're all about building entrepreneurs. So that's the conversation we have there. The way we celebrate our agents, of course, we put their name on the tree, that our profit share tree.
And tell me about
And
this tree. Is it just a tree that has
it's
names?
just, so what we did is there's a company here called Alpha Graphics, and I saw it at another market center, but the tree was medium.
Yeah.
You know us, Aaron, we go big. So
Yeah, of
this
course.
tree, I said I wanted to take up this whole wall. So it's a real pretty trunk tree, and it goes out, and then on the, through the branches, there's leaves. So on the branch, we can take your name off if you leave us, unfortunately,
Yeah.
but our goal is to keep it completely full, and it's been doing pretty well. But now they have a mission to get their name on that wall, right? And then, of course, they're able to see every month after we close the books the amount of money that we contributed. So when I'm doing my tour, or when an agent is seen and saying, wow, look how much money they gave. Okay, I need to get on board, or I need to join this office because of that.
Let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
So
I can tell you when that's.
I know. I'm going to start raising I've been told I interrupt too much. And
No, please do. I don't mind.
I mean, it's just who I am. I'm sorry. All right. So the leaves on the tree, is it just their name? Does it have a dollar amount? All right.
Nope,
so I got to tell you, I saw once, I can't remember where it was, but there was a tree. It was not as big as yours on a wall, but the leaves had the agent's names who made profit share that month. But instead of the money, it said what it did for them that month. Like, hey, it just paid for my, my kids' summer. It just paid for my E&O insurance. It paid for a mega camp ticket. I just thought that was, we all know that it's not about the money. It's about all the good the money does for our associates. I just thought that was a really interesting play on that, right? Which is, it shows them what the money, or, put that money in my retirement. So, okay. So you have that tree, which, by the way, I go into market centers. They don't even have a check on the wall. They don't have anything on the wall. And then they wonder why they're not profitable, or people are not participating in profit share. So you have you have your check, you got your tree, but you also are very purposeful on social media and stakeholder meetings, celebrating your top stakeholders, your top referral agents, right? Go through that for me.
So let me say this though first. And it also helps when the team leader, whoever's telling the story, to have a story of their own. So my story is, I didn't hear about profit share for 2 years, and not unintentionally. The team leader, no harm. She's a great team leader. But my first profit share check was $17. My biggest profit share check was $8,505. Wow. So there was months where I might have had a slow month, and it was perfect because it took care of the 2-car notes or whatever the case may be. I was able to pay off my parents' home. I was able to buy my favorite sports car I wanted. Those kind of things, be able to start investing. There's just so many different things that you can do with it that people don't realize it. And that's why I always tell them, unless you're ready to make 3 checks with us, they really think about partnering with us. And they were like, I want to make 3 checks with you guys. Where do I sign? So we haven't even gotten through the whole recruiting appointment, but that right there already intrigues them.
I love it.
Of course, when we go through command and we go through the different communities, et cetera, and then the support and training that they get from here. But with our agents, we recognize them every month. We call them, they're stakeholders. So they get a certificate, and we bring them up to the front, and we congratulate them on our regular monthly awards. And then at the end of the year, not only do we give all the awards for the annual production, but the top 5 stakeholders as well. We give them some really cool buttons, or we'll give them like $1 million Kit Kat, whatever thing it may be, a candy bar, whatever. But just to let them know, like, we see you, we recognize you. And people are like, how do I get that award? I'm getting this award, but how do I get the top stakeholders award? And that just speaks volume. We also recognize on social media, we want to let them know that thank you for partnering with us and building we call it our profit share empire. Because we want to make sure that they know that, no, we see you, thank you, and we want to acknowledge that. One thing is very passionate about me. If you're going to give me a referral, I want you to hold me accountable. I'm going to follow up. I'm going to BC you. I'm going to make sure that we put them on a smart plan. I'll update them if I was able to set the appointment, or if not, they're not ready just yet, but we're going to stay in touch, or I'm going to invite them to the business planning clinic or mega camp, whatever the case may be, depending again to how deep the conversation went. If they're very interested, but not ready yet, at least I can just continue to start to build a relationship with.
Let me ask you, Veronica, my guess is you probably don't do a lot of cold calling. Yeah?
No, I do a little bit of both still, but I don't have to do it as hard as I used to, because because people know, my agents here know, and not to mention, just in general. I love having partnerships like with you,
Yeah.
Andrew Pykoff, Brent Mitchell,
Yep.
you name it, because they know very well if we call them on behalf of Veronica Jones, she's going to follow through. She's going to make sure. I let you know I've secured the appointment. I let you know, okay, we met with them. This was the conversation. These are our next steps. We're having a second meeting. I'm going to prepare a proposal. And our goal is that we secure with them being your sponsor. And again, as you know, the recruit makes the final decision, but we basically make sure we mention your name several times, just so that way they can know. I want to thank Aaron again. He'd be so honored to be your sponsor because he put you in front of me, and I can't thank him enough for that.
And listen, and I'm so passionate about that. And look, I'm the first person to say that anybody that's referring leads to a market center, look, the onus is on you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't control what happens after you refer them, but what you can control is the value you provide to the team leader, to the recruit, how well you follow up, having an intentional conversation about sponsorship that doesn't sound like put me down as your sponsor, right? Following up, having that stuff. But, I can't tell you just how grateful we are, people like Andrew and Brent, to have a market center that we know is communicating with us, right? Like, and look, I get it. Team leaders, leadership teams, we got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff going on, and we don't expect them to constantly update us, right, with everything that's going on, right? It's really our job to follow up with the recruits, but to know that you guys are being proactive about that, you know what that does for us, Veronica? That makes us want to send you more recruits.
Absolutely.
Okay? Yeah. And I know it's a crazy idea. Okay.
No, it's a wonderful idea.
Treat the referral source as good, if not better than the referral. And look, Veronica, you are also part owner of this market center, right?
Yes.
So you're not just the CEO, you are a owner, right? And so you understand, look, your market center and your job and your everything that's going on there, if you can just foster and nurture people that are trying to grow your market center and celebrate them, your job's a lot easier. Yeah. Because you don't have to bang the phones as much as you would have to if you didn't have people that trusted you and were sending you leads. So I just want you to know from my position how much I want to put you on a pedestal and model you for what you do to celebrate and to communicate. I mean, another part of gratitude is just communication.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
And look, we're trying to grow market centers, right? And whether it's internet recruiting or whether it's through relationships, it's like being a real estate agent, Veronica. If somebody sent me a lead as a real estate agent, and let's just say it was a crappy rental lead, do you think I would ignore it? No. What I would do is I would at least address it, show gratitude for that referral. Yeah. Maybe it's not something I'm going to work personally, but my guess is maybe the next lead they send me might be a good one, right? So I just think it's important for us to just, for a moment, to explain to people, look, if you're running a market center, your greatest leverage tool are KW associates, okay? Right. Not hiring a cyberbacker, not paying for job ads. It's KW stakeholders. And if you can just nurture those relationships and communicate with them at a high level and honor their referral and support them, you'll have more leads than you can handle. Right.
Well, let me tell you, Aaron. So you see these leads right here?
Yeah, I love it.
You're giving to me because I'm going to have it fun where we're giving away a cruise.
Oh, so, nice. I bet you the pagans are.
Because why not make it fun, right? Absolutely. We'll give a contest. We'll pay for your hard dues. The person that gives us the most leads. And I love that because, again, this goes to show that people want to make sure that not only does it make it competitive, but it's like, why not? Because they also, little do they know what a life they can change by me talking to these individuals. And one thing I want to make crystal clear, I think agents also have the wrong perception where they feel like they've got to do all the talking. We've been trained already to recruit. Let us do our job. Just connect us. What we don't also want them to do neither is throw up on them, right? KW, oh my God, because they're so used to other agents doing that I love that they're passionate that they want to. It's just a matter of having that conversation. Hey, do you mind if I connect you with my team leader, my ATL, my recruiter, whatever the case may be, and then make it happen. And then at that point, once you connect us, it is our job to follow through, to close the deal if they make a match, and then to sign them up.
Well, and let me say that, Veronica, because, look, a huge part of that dynamic is that they have to trust you. Okay.
Yes.
Not just trust you to support them, but to trust you
Absolutely.
to close it.
Yes.
Okay. And we know you are, look, you're a longtime team leader. You're a longtime KW associate. You are a killer in sheep's clothing. You're sweet and rainbows and unicorns, but you're a closer. Okay. You're a high level businesswoman.
But strictly by
Right.
training and experience.
Oh,
Yes.
no,
I mastered my
100%.
craft. I have amazing.
In
Yeah,
repetition.
absolutely. Yes.
But my point is that when your associates trust you to support them,
Thank you.
they
Yeah.
trust you to close them, those referrals, right? Then they don't feel compelled so much to throw up on KW on recruits, because they realize all I got to do is get them to take a call from Veronica, and she's gonna work it and close it for me.
Right.
Now, with that said, I would say I think our agents are capable of a higher level conversation than just, hey, I love KW. Can I have this other person tell you why I love it so much? But we agree. Look, the great thing about KW is you have full-time salaried leadership whose sole purpose it is to build wealth for you.
Do that all day long.
Leverage them, right? Leverage them, because that's what this company is all about. I mean, and so if you can just put a little bit of effort into the relationships, exciting them, finding the good, the bad, and the ugly out about them, and get them in front of a team leader who is trained and committed to supporting the referral, it's the easiest wealth building play out there right now.
Absolutely.
Right?
One thing too, Aaron, I do want to mention is everyone on my leadership team knows how to recruit. Now, for instance, if I'm running behind schedule, or my director of operations is, or my MCA, or my tech trainer, everyone recruits from our marketing people. Our agent services does. And a lot of times they'll recruit some of the newer agents, the more top tier leadership, right? Handles more of the R2 and everything agents. But I love the fact that I can high five or tag team with one of my leadership, and I could be talking to you. We're done talking, but the tour still needs to be done. But now I've got Andrew in my conference room to go meet with. I can tag team. They can go do the tour for me with that agent, and then I'll follow up with you, right? But now I'm in another meeting speaking to somebody else.
Exactly.
Sometimes they may go over, but I love the fact that if a new agent can walk in this room, into this office, I don't have to meet with them. Any of my leadership is capable of. So I love that we cross-train that way. So we can just make sure that, because somebody could just walk in without an appointment, we've got to be on. We've got to be ready to present.
Absolutely. Well, look, you're allowed to have leverage too, right? I mean, we want Veronica's focusing on her 20%, which is meeting with experienced agents and loving on her existing agents, right?
Yeah,
and so, not a lot of some market centers have the kind of leadership team that you have and can trust them. Has most of your leadership team been with you for a while?
Yeah. My MCA has been with me for 10 years.
Wow.
My director of operations has been with me for 6. My executive recruiter has been with me for 8.
That's amazing.
And then the rest have been 3 and 2 years. But again, a lot of them, my executive assistant, who I absolutely love, Yvonne Liao, she's now a great top producing agent. So it's all about growing leaders. And now she's having a very nice real estate career life, but that's what we want. But I love it's all about loyalty, and I love my amazing executive leadership team. They're fabulous.
So what, I'm just curious, Veronica, how much have you earned in associate profit share? Do you know roughly since you've been?
So I know for sure roughly about this year, I'll end up roughly right at about 28,000. And year to date, excuse me, what is that? Like the whole time I've had profit share is roughly right at about 228,000.
Wow, that's amazing.
I have 225 agents in my downline. And keep in mind, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead, please.
The majority of that has been with me being an agent. I haven't practiced in 13 years.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. And so, and look, 28, you said you're 28 roughly year to date or something like that. Is that what you said?
28,000 roughly. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, profit share's down company wide, pretty much 50% year over year. And I would imagine that most of your profit share is coming out of the Houston area. Is that correct? Or?
The majority of it, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and look, that's the beauty of being a team leader, an owner, and also a agent who's purposeful about profit share, is that you are controlling you're impacting the profitability of your market center that many of your downline is in, right? So that's a double win for you. Okay, so
Aaron, I do want to mention this just to give you an idea. So In my first line, I have 65. My first level, 65, second level, 86, third level, 51, fourth level, 16, fifth level, 7. I don't have 6 and 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
And let's make sure people really understand what that means, because the top profit share earners in KW, right? They earn the majority of their profit share money off of their 6th and 7th levels,
Yes.
right? I mean, the McKissicks, God bless them.
Yes.
Love them.
Hashtag goals.
Yeah, I know, right? They've earned over
we'll be like them, absolutely.
Earn over $60 million in lifetime profit share. But what people need to understand is they've only sponsored 33 people between the two of them. Now, these were influential people that ended up opening up market centers, and I'm sure they have some regional people in there. But what people need to know, and the McKissicks have always been so great to me. But one time, Linda, through Prez, shared her profit share report with me from the intranet. Okay. And I have it on my dream board, right? I was like, okay, I'm beating Linda McKissick on my first and second level. Okay. So that's pretty darn good. But I got 10 people on my 7th. She's got like 3,000 people on her 7th level.
Amazing.
Yeah. But it's just, and that's what I want to, maybe we can kind of go in that direction, Veronica, because, I think what people need to understand is, look, for many people, profit share is just icing on the cake at KW, right? And look, we're a real estate company. Profit share was never meant to be a full-time business, although some of us have kind of gone that way with it. But please keep in mind, it has been a very bumpy ride to go all in on profit
journey, but you've done it. Yes.
Right. I mean, look, my profit share is down 50% year over year. But with that said, I got to tell you, I'm kind of getting a little excited. I mean, I know it's been a tough 4 or 5 years. I mean, look, the last couple of weeks, we've heard some terrible news. That's exactly what we don't want to hear. Right. Lawsuits or, Zillow buying Follow-Up Boss, or pandemics or shifts, new flashy objects, right, in the industry. Right. But what keeps you sort of anchored, right? I know what keeps me anchored is, where we're heading as a company. But, look, you're not just a profit share earner. You're an owner of a Keller Williams market center and soon to possibly be multiple market centers. What do you tell yourself, or what's your belief in the future of KW, the future of profit share? I mean, how do you feel in this moment? Because I'm excited, because last time I checked, we were born in a shift and we took over the industry during the last shift. Do you feel like we're kind of a sleeping giant right now? I know we've been kind of building our tech and it's been messy, but how do you feel about the future of KW? And for somebody, who's watching this, who wants to get purposeful about profit share, what would you tell them about the future of that investment of profit share?
Well, for one, I will say this is, oh my goodness, if you truly believe in this company like the way we do, you'll get it, right? Because we get it. I mean, obviously, but once you've experienced what you've experienced, like myself, I can just only speak for myself, that it continues to reinstate to us why my commitment was with this company. And by talking to other people, they're going to see, like, where I'm at right now, I don't need to be at. I need to go ahead and move over. And we don't need to dog that, right? We need to be able to say, come from contribution, come from actually concern, to say, what can we do to help you and get them over. But little do they know, Andrew, one thing too, I've spoken to a couple of agents that say, this is too much in this industry. And these are more seasoned. I don't call them old, seasoned agents. Yeah. And I was like, can we partner? Would love to be able to talk to you. Maybe we can come up with a value proposition to buy your database, or so you can get referrals from that database. But also too, by you partnering with us, you're such a legend in this industry. Oh my goodness, I can just imagine the people would love to be able to share with the fact that we would love to be able to create a 401k for you, or your retirement by giving you passive income. Would you be interested in talking? So that is definitely something that's really important, because a lot of people, again, we're a company of resilience. So when something like this happens, we just figure out, okay, a solution. How can we make this work? How do we work through this? We're always coming with this.
Do you find agents right now in this shifting market and this sort of unsettling times, certainly post lawsuits and some of the conversations having around that, are you finding that agents are in your market are more receptive to having conversations because they're feeling more pain in the
Oh,
shipping?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can see like some of I call them I'm looking at my board. It's called my VIP group.
Yeah.
Those are the people I've been nurturing, been sending proposals, trying to get to, and all their businesses are down 38%.
Yeah.
So I'm not reminding them of that. I am letting them know I'm here for you. What can I do to help you? Where I can almost guarantee you their broker's not doing that.
Are you are you doing events, leaning in more into training, trying to get people in the training events? Yeah.
And what we started to do specifically after COVID was starting to do events outside the office because they may not come here, but they'll definitely come and have it sponsored by one of our mortgage companies or title companies. And that way we can always mingle. One thing I'm really, really big at, along with my team, and we spread out, so we cover the masses. We not only go to the schools, Aaron, but we'll go to networking events. We'll go to builder events. We'll go to broker open houses on purpose. On weekends, we still work. We will drive by and we will pull over and little do they know that. And I've had somebody tell me, Veronica, the only reason why I'm in business with you is because you always supported my open houses. You would come to anything I was having. And I thank you for that, because my own team leader, manager, as they call them in other brokerages, wouldn't even come. It's important to stay in touch with them through social media too, because if you see something going on, I've had an agent that she just had her first grandbaby, sent her flowers.
Yeah.
She replied back and said, I haven't even gotten the congratulations from my own broker.
Amazing.
So just the little personal touches matter. I've had a couple of people where they always say every year I get a card from Veronica regarding my kids when they graduate from college. She has 5 of them. Yeah. And every year they're back to back. So they've always gotten to college. And this kid doesn't even know who I am, but knowing that they matter to me and that their parents matter to me to be in business with someday. And you just got to continue that. Well, but I'm so sorry, let me just say this. Regardless of what's going on, it's always more important to stay even more in touch with them during times like this than just when the time is good, right? And that's why when I speak to them, I always stay optimistic. Do I get concerned every now and then? Absolutely. We all concerned, right? We're human, excuse me. But still, though, it's just a matter of, you know what? We're just going to have to keep moving. And real estate has always been where it's an industry that will never go away. Somebody's always going to want to buy, sell, and invest. And someone's always going to want to get into that career. And we've got to be ready for them. And we've got to be prepared to offer them an amazing value proposition, which we already have an amazing company to back us up.
Well, first of all, you sound like a mega agent, right? I mean, you'll always be an agent.
I run a mega team.
Yeah, I know. You're always an agent, right? I mean, at your heart, right? And look, you treat these other agents like you would treat your real estate database, right? It's about, look, at the end of the day, it's about being more human more often, right? And your database is your market centers, your vendors, and the agents in your market, right? And if you just love on them and come from contribution, right? And you build a market center that no one would ever want or need to leave, right? Then all of a sudden you have such a huge advantage over your competition, many of which are hunkering down and trying to outlast this shift. And, one of the things I've been talking about a lot, Veronica, for people that are concerned about, the future of real estate or the future of KW and profit share. Look, we all can acknowledge the fact that there is going to be a thinning of the herd. And I think we all want that. There's a reason consumers don't view real estate agents at a very high level, right? It's got the bar to be a real estate agent is very low. Okay. Yeah. So if there is a thinning of the herd, well, then what will hopefully happen is the bar will be raised.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But here's what I'm going to say. If Gary Keller didn't think, because I always say, Gary Keller is not just the agent advocate. He's the real estate consumer advocate too.
Absolutely. Right? And the leader of all real estate.
Right. And if he didn't believe first and foremost that the best consumer experience was going to be with a local relationship driven fiduciary agent at the center of the transaction, right? Yeah. Who can offer a similar digital experience and a similar price offer that Zillow does, okay, or Open Door.
Yeah,
we'll never go away. Okay. Yeah. But that's what people need to understand is that's what we're building as a company. That's why you want to start working off of command. Okay. Yes. That's why you want to stop buying leads from Zillow. That's why you want to really lean into being a stakeholder at KW, is that if we can't hit that bar, if we cannot deliver a similar digital experience at a similar price offer, they're going to win. Okay. The tech disruptors are going to win. And I think people need to understand Gary, Keller, and KW are the point on that spear. And that if we can just keep building our ecosystem, keep growing our company, keep leaning into culture, we will be the company that true real estate professionals will want to align with, because that's how we're going to beat these Wall Street backed tech disruptors. And yeah, you know what? Maybe someday there'll only be one real estate company on this side, right? I mean, I'm just saying, that's what I tell myself at night, Veronica, to wake up the next morning and to go after my unfair share of profit share, is that I can't control the industry. I can't control, all these things that are happening. What I can control is adding more people to this company and trying to be a part of the positive change. And I think that kind of mindset is what makes my profit share checks keep growing. And I think a lot of people get caught up in the market, or they get caught up with, hey, I just lost a sponsorship, or somebody I had in my downline went to another company, or my check this month wasn't as big as I was hoping it to be. So they stop being purposeful about it. And people like you and me just keep going and keep going and keep going, right?
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, Aaron, if they build it, they'll come, know, but you got to also make sure that you're all in, that you're truly walking the walk and talking the talk, right? And do you really truly know how to do your business plan? Are you running a true business? So that's really important, just to make sure you're teaming up with the right company to help you with that. So that's really important. But
right. And you show up. I mean, you show up every day, right? I mean, and that's one of the things about my experience at KW, if it wasn't for my, my amazing OP, Sean Rawls, and if it wasn't for my goofy team leader, Brad Feynman, who literally was the first guy in, last guy out every day, I wouldn't be where I am today. I had to have a high level experience at Keller Williams as an agent first before I ever wanted to attract people to this company,
Absolutely.
So Veronica, I know you're a busy person. Okay. Before we leave today, what kind of knowledge or thoughts or words of wisdom would you offer somebody who's listening to this? We have 8 people on this live call, but there will be more people watching it in the group and on YouTube. What is your word of advice to somebody that says, look, I want to get intentional about profit share. I don't know how to start. I don't know what to do. What do you tell associates like that who want to get purposeful about it, but just don't know where to start?
Well, I always tell people, only fly with the Eagles. So I fly with you, Aaron, right? I fly with Andrew Pycon. Those people, all those people do it at a high level, and we can always learn from each other. That's for sure. So learn from people who are doing it at a high level. I promise you, we don't have any problem taking people under our wing. But little things like for team leaders, we had the Profit Share Summit here in our office, and we had like a watch party. That's awesome. Those kind of things are really important to have. We have you every year practically, right?
Yep.
We got your back because for COVID, of course, we couldn't do it. But still, I just love the fact that we're always having somebody come and be able to share about that. Exactly. And then also, too, for instance, be able to just truly understand how to truly explain profit share. It's not complicated, I promise you. Or even so, have a visual. That's what we do, or show the video and learn it. And practicing script is really, really good. I had an amazing maps coach, who helped me with that as well, whether I was an agent or a team leader. But the main thing is, if it comes from the heart, there's not going to be no effort. If you truly love this company and you back Gary the way we do, and Mark Kink and Jason Abram, you're not going to have any problem doing that. But truly, just believe in the company, believe in yourself. We mastered this, Aaron. We can walk an elevator and do our elevator speech and set an appointment by the time we walk off that elevator, where you may not be able to do that, but it took us just as well. Don't be so hard on yourself. I promise you, it's just mastering your craft. And I do that in anything, whether it's my scripting, phone calls, building, a relationship more with my agents, because not only am I always recruiting, but I'm also recruiting my agents to stay.
Re-recruiting,
that I recruit them consistently and continually bringing them value by bringing amazing talent to the office to teach certain classes and everything. So, which is really important.
I love that. And, you said it before, walk the walk before you talk the talk, right? First of all, be an agent, other agents respect. Okay.
Yes.
operate with a high level of integrity, communicate. I mean, I think communication is the biggest thing that anybody can do to get respect from other people in the industry, but also come into the office, right?
Yes.
Offer to teach a class, right? Seek out knowledge and referrals, help start adopting command, right? Join mastermind groups like the Profit Share Mastermind Group. And I think what happens here
Yes.
at KW, Veronica, is that when you embrace all the opportunities that KW has to offer, it changes your life. It changes your business, right? And then you're compelled to want to share it with people, and how you share it is up to you. But when people say to me all the time, like, how do I recruit? I'm like, how do you sell real estate? I mean, seriously.
Absolutely.
Do you just wait for people to call you, or do you become the expert? Do you become some, people respect? It's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's relationships, it's being intentional, coming from contribution. Okay, Veronica, you're the best. Okay.
Wow.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I'm actually coming to spring, I think, at some point.
In February.
February.
We'll see you in February.
Can't wait to come back and smell that beautiful office. And you're the best. You're one of my favorites. And let's try to get Andrew Pykoff on here for his
Please do. Absolutely.
Watch him squirm. All right. All right, Veronica. Take care.
Thank you for all you do. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.